The whole issue here is that it is not enough to say, I think the leadership has taken Nigerians for granted over a very long period of time. And this has to do with the fact that, in my view, certain fault lines, ethnicity, religion, sectionalism, and so on and so forth, has been clearly exploited by the elites and the political establishment in order to score very cheap points. It's not about, we know in normal democracies, when elections come, people talk about, try to compare what happened in the last 4 years and see if their lives have been improved or not, or if their conditions of living, in fact, have degenerated. But what we have here is that anytime you have elections, you hear about so many things. It's religion, campaigns are done in churches, in mosques, unfortunately. And, you see culpable Nigeria or gullible Nigerians, to the extent of almost taking arms, trying to defend what they say is a man from their own faith. And unfortunately, without necessarily looking at the real economic, social, and political dividends, that they are likely going to get or that they have gotten from such a candidate. So unless, and of course, again, this is another factor that is inbuilt within the level of education and literacy of the society. And the elites are very much aware of this, and they take advantage of it at every given opportunity. And then once elections are done, those who are elected will come and tell you that, no, education is too expensive, government can't do everything. Hospitals, yes, health services are too, and so on and so forth. And so at the end of it, people now will get back to their issues, and at the slightest opportunity, what you have is you have crisis emerging out of poverty, but then it has to be interpreted in one way or the other, whether it is religious, whether it is Igbos against Hausas, or Hausas against Igbos or Yorubas, and so on and so forth. So this is the objective Nigerian reality that we face today, that is mainly caused by the failure of leadership. And failure of leadership here does not necessarily restrict itself to those who are elected at various levels of representation. But even the elites, who take delight in, projecting this type of arguments and then deceiving the people, taking the minds of the people away from objective realities to frivolous issues just for the elites to achieve their selfish objectives.
But the unfortunate aspect of this, Dr. Mato, is that politicians will come, they'll peddle all this falsehood, and not even just the gullible ones, even some of the educated ones believe some of these things, and they pull wool over our eyes time and again. And if you try to preach this kind of gospel saying, well, no, you shouldn't look based on your ethnicity, religion, tribe, you will only end up being in the minority. Where do we go from here?
Well, of course, that is again the issue. So, like Dr. Ona was talking about, this issue of immunity clause in the Constitution that allows a governor or a president or a deputy governor or a vice president a period within which he remains in office not to be questioned. Or not to be taken before any court on any matter, whether civil or criminal. I think it's a matter of time. We should be able to accept the fact that 4 years or 8 years is a very small period within which somebody will now come back, unless, of course, if he or she dies, will come back and answer questions to those things that he has done. Yes, one major issue is that it is not all about the elites, like I did see, is implicated in this very dangerous scenario of dragging Nigeria, to the 1920s. The elite is responsible, and of course the leaders emerge from this elite class. And it is the same elite class. You see, the problem is that you find a society that is relatively intact, and then you come and you segregate. You put all manner of lies in order to cause disharmony and division within that society so that you achieve certain political ends. By the time you win elections, and then your major objective and focus at that time will be how to keep this society united. But it becomes impossible, because in the first place you are an architect. You are the architect of the divisions that you have within the society. When you are struggling for power, you go by any means. You become Machiavellian. In the end, justify the means. You use religion, you use region, you use tribe, whatever you want to use, you get it. But the moment you accent to political authority, the next thing you do is that you cannot enjoy your reign on power unless you have peace and stability within society. Then you come back and you want to put the society together. It is not possible for you to do that. So the fact of the matter is this. I think it is important that we have to continue to preach to Nigerian citizenry to observe the fact that it is not important where somebody comes from. It is not important what manner of religion somebody professes or what tribes or what language anyone speaks, but the important thing is the level of contribution that that particular individual is likely to give in the process of making life better for the citizens of this country. I think if we do that, and of course, we also have to insist on having free, fair, and credible, electoral process. You will agree with me that in the last 12, 13 years that we have had this democracy, the electoral system has not been really forthcoming. It is still, not yet uhuru. And so the fact of the matter is that we can only have the ascendancy of true leadership, true political leadership within the society if people are allowed to vote and elect those people that they believe will be useful to them. And then, of course, it is also at that instance that those who are elected and they believe that their mandate is genuinely derived from the citizenry that will have their focus as the people. Anything they do, it will be the people, and it won't be themselves or their pockets or their cronies or those who have contributed in propelling them to positions of political authority. So I think the responsibility is twofold. Okay. One, it has to do with the ruling class itself, the elites, the political authority must realize that the historic mission that it has before it is that it is challenged to improve the loads of the Nigerian society, to build the capacities of Nigerians, provide basic infrastructure and necessary enabling environment that will make life more prosperous for the citizenry. That is one. Secondly, it is also very incumbent on the population. But like I did say, education and level of literacy remains an issue. But it is, of course, necessary that citizens themselves must know that the power to better their lives to a greater extent lies in their votes. How well they vote, how dispassionate they are about discharging their civic responsibilities during election, to a great extent will contribute in the evolution of more human, genuine, and patriotic leadership that will address the yearnings and aspirations of the Nigerian citizenry.
All right, if we were to start with some sort of re-engineering, do you see Nigerians from all walks of life now saying, okay, we've had enough of this. Let's get down to the political parties and start that change from within there?
Yeah. Well, let's get it straight. My position on political parties for a very long time, especially this crop of political parties, has been that they are a misnomer. They are not actual political parties, but they are simply a conglomeration of sometimes strange bedfellows, those who simply desire to capture political power, congregating themselves, coming together to contest elections, either to win elections or to rig elections just for the purpose of controlling political power. That is the most important thing. Now, we need to restructure the political party system in this country to such an extent that parties should be able to play their role of political education, interest aggregation, articulation, representation, and so on and so forth. And we need to see that being done practically by ensuring that the internal party democracy mechanisms are also revived and put in place so that method of election of party leadership is very transparent, and to the extent that party leaders can wax the necessary powers that they have, it is only when this leadership of political parties are elected through free, fair, and transparent process that they will have the capacity to instill discipline on those people who are elected into positions of authority in government.